Hello and welcome to GEOSCOPE on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes, and as always, I'm joined by Ollie from Yorkshire, Mr. Bowler Hatman. How's it going, mate? I just realised that I put an Evans apostrophe in the title of this. I put Waltzes, and because it had a Z and an S next to each other, I'm gonna edit that as we speak. Although having a Z and an S, is Waltzes spelt with an E as well? Is it Z-E-S?
I'm not sure.
What's the plural? What's the plural of waltz? Someone tell us quick.
Waltz.
Plural
Waltzes.
of waltz. Anyway, oh yeah, it is waltzes with an E. Sorry, I've misspelt it again. Right, I have to change that. Everyone's got to refresh the video now. Okay, quick refresh, everyone. Welcome. I'm disappearing off the screen. Oh my god, it's all going horribly wrong, and you can see the edge of my green screen now. I'm just going to try and adjust my camera. This is going to go horribly wrong. I know it is. Oh no, that's all right. Yeah, okay. Right.
And people in the chat saying I'm the one who's late.
What? You're fine, mate. You're all good. For some reason, you're very loud. Well, not you. You're personally very loud. It's just your input. It seems quite loud. So if there's any problems with Ollie's sound, just let me know.
It's just because I'm from Yorkshire. That's all.
I'll try and sort that out. Right. Big shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got Pete's Music in there. We've got Michael Warner. We've got some guy called Bowler Hatman. Don't know who he is. We've also got David Walker as well, who've just mentioned, and also David Walker. We've got Dave W. Rocks as well. We've got Simon Smith, Simon M. Pete's Music, Emma Price, David Lilly is in there, Jup James, Stephanie Wilson. Hello. I have dutifully refreshed, said Stephanie. Thank you. Spare my terrible spelling, my greengrocer's apostrophe. Anyway, Ollie, exciting news.
Yep, very exciting news, because I was wondering whether this was going to pop during our live stream anyway. But we knew it was happening at some point this week, and that was, of course, who is going to be Kamala Harris's running mate, and that is, of course, Tim Walz.
Yes. Is it pronounced Waltz or Walz? Because it's W-A-L-Z. There's no T in it.
I'm not sure at the moment. I think it's. Okay. We'll find out in a couple of days.
We'll find out. We'll all say it wrong anyway, because you know who can say things right these days. Yeah. Oh, Jan is in the chat. Hello from France. Bonsoir. I should say it's in evening.
Bonsoir.
And Alvone says, "Hey all." So Tim Walz, he is a former geography teacher. He's also he's a senator from Minnesota. He's originally from Nebraska. He's from a military family. He was in the Army, US Army, for many, many years, and then he became a teacher. And he's the guy who came up with the whole "Let's Call Trump Weird" campaign last week, which I think was just an accident. I think he just said, it's a bit weird, isn't it? And the Trump people
just spread.
just freaked the F
fire.
out. They were like, what? You can't say that. You can't say that all weird things are weird. What's quite good about Tim Walz is that he doesn't really have a pop at voters, the actual Democrat voters or the Trump voters. He doesn't say they're weird. He's just like, have you noticed how this Trump fella is a bit odd? So it's not, yeah.
But like I say, I think honestly they've gone with the best candidate I think they could get. I really do think, because there's one of the things that I found out when I was looking into him. He was governor of Minnesota as well, and he did a lot of progressive stuff in Minnesota. A lot of progressive stuff. He got union busting. He managed to get those like anti-union busting laws on the books. He's done a lot of helping kids. So he's got like free school meals, free breakfasts on there. But he's done all this stuff while having a majority of one in like the Minnesota Senate. Wow. So this guy knows how to knife fight in what is a very, very, in many ways, a politically easy area to lose. He's done incredibly well with that majority, and he's managed to do a lot of very, very, very good stuff. Even Bernie was apparently pushing for him and wouldn't endorse Kamala until he knew who was going to be their VP. So this is someone who is very, very much supported by the progressives as well over in America. So I think they've gone for a very, very good candidate. And I think it does set the stage really quite well for potentially what is going to be Harris's agenda when she's president, because I think at this moment it's not just Jova, it's Kamala locked.
Okay, brilliant. Well, listen, I've looked it up, and it's Tim Waltz, spelled Wolts is how you pronounce it.
Tim Waltz.
There you go. That's what Google says. So I'm going to say Tim Waltz from now on. Like the Waltons, but shortened the Waltz. More than one person called Walt. GHK, thank you very much for the first super chat of the evening. Thank you, that's very kind of you. Walls is the pronunciation. Let's build the walls. No, it's not. It's Waltz. It's Waltz. Jupp James, and the most important thing about Waltz, he doesn't apologise for doing progressive politics. The corporate Dems do that all the effing time.
Yes.
Says.
Did you see there's actually a really good clip that I saw watching the Majority Report earlier today. He had this amazing clip where someone was, I can't remember who it was interviewing him now. And they said, oh, but isn't that, socialism? And he turns around and his response to them was, well,
fuck off.
He just goes, one man's socialism is another man's good neighborliness. And I think that is an incredible way to sort of sell like progressive politics to people. Like, this isn't socialism. This is just being a good neighbor. And
well, this is why
incredible way to sell that.
We were talking about this, weren't we? About wokeism. So woke is a rebrand of a pejorative rebrand. It's supposed to be a pejorative, but I'm quite proud to be woke. Of political correctness, which was basically decorum, decency, manners, good manners, which comes from chivalry. So what you want to be saying is actually, I'm being chivalrous. That's what being woke is. It's being chivalrous. It's defending the little guy. It's defending the downtrodden, the people, who you need to help up. That's what it is. It's chivalrous. And that sticks in the eye of all those fake patriots who've been rioting this week with their Union, flag of St. George avatar and bulldogs and all that bullshit. They all had this idea that they're parts of the Knights of the Templar Knights or something, Knights of the Guard. I mean, God, Jesus, I don't know what they think, but I've seen a lot of bad AI art this week, and it's not quite as sickening as what they've been doing on the streets, but still horrible nonetheless. Alan says, good night, Billy Bob, from the Waltons. How do we shut down Elon Musk, says Plum Duff. Well, he seems to be having a pop at our Prime Minister this week, so I think they should just say, right, that's it, no more Twitter in the UK.
Yep.
Just pull the plug.
I agree with you on that one. I did a video about this yesterday, and I've just had it. I think if we shut down Twitter in the UK, we lose absolutely nothing. Honestly, we lose nothing. We lose nothing and gain, I think, more niceness, more sanity. And for those people worried about, oh no, we're losing Twitter, well, don't worry. There's plenty of alternatives for like people's social media use. So I'm not even worried about that, to be honest. And even then, if people want to get like around the block, only really like the most technical people are really gonna like go and actually do that. So what would that be really? Let's say realistically, maybe like 10% of tech bro Twitter users in the UK might be bothered to get around it. And even then, like I say,
but the dickheads won't be able to. The dickheads who are using, they're using Telegram to send stuff at the moment, but like they're being egged on by the likes of Farage and Tommy 10 Names and Loser Fox on Twitter. So if you take away, if they have to use a VPN in order to get on Twitter, they're not that smart. Do you know what I mean? It's just what works on their phone.
It's just going to go really, really bad for Elon Musk, I think, if he starts doing this, because not only is he potentially going to lose X in the UK, we already know, as we talked about last week, he's possibly going to end up in court with the EU maybe at some point soon as well. So that'll be fun.
Fingers
to
crossed.
see that.
No, it genuinely will be fun because I hate him. Honestly, he has done so much damage to the world, and he just thinks he's Lex Luthor, down to the fake hair and everything. If you watch Smallville,
this was a guy who constantly talks about, Twitter being like the town square of, I don't know, free speech. But the thing is, the town square is looking a bit shit these days.
Yes,
it's just not a very nice place to go to.
No, it's not nice at all.
Yeah, you can go to other town squares because there's plenty of other choices for social media use. So I'm honestly thinking at this point, we just completely X Twitter, and just block it in the UK.
Well, we've got a question. If we ban Twitter, what will XY Rowling do all day? So I'm calling her XY Rowling from now on until she proves otherwise. She hasn't apologised, for misgendering that Algerian athlete who could be put to death. Well, effectively put to death.
Even what was it? Was it Dennis?
If she is trans, yeah. Les Dennis apologised. Les Dennis is more of a man than J.K. Rowling. XY Rowling.
There's a guy who I know has some pretty appalling takes, but at least he had, when someone apologizes for something, I think you should turn around and go, okay, good job for apologizing for that.
If it's a genuine apology, Ollie, none of this, I'm sorry that you were offended.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like, I'm sorry I fucked up. That's a proper apology as far as I'm concerned. I've learned from this experience and I won't do it again. But you hardly ever hear that in the public sphere, do you?
Yeah, it is really rare for people to do that. Yeah.
But yes, what will XY Rowling do? I think she will just, I don't know, maybe she'll do what I've been suggesting for years. She'll just find a beach somewhere and have a party every night with her friends and family.
Yeah.
I would
she'll
do
probably
if I had
move to a different platform. Everyone else will. They'll either move back to Facebook, they'll move to, TikTok, but I don't know if that's going to last too long in the UK as well. We are looking at potentially America banning TikTok, and I think that America will put pressure on the EU to ban TikTok, and I think they'll end up banning it, and then I think we'll probably end up following suit in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I mean, it seems improbable, but seriously, it's getting to a point now where it is actually fomenting terrorism because they're looking into charges of terrorism for these rioters on the streets of the UK. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's not like here's a platform. Some people were putting up, very Islamist videos on YouTube 15 years ago. And YouTube was told, you need to clamp down on this. You can't have these videos going up on your platform. And YouTube responded and took those videos down. But it wasn't like the owner of YouTube was making those videos himself. Whereas with Twitter, the owner of the platform is using it to promote and foment hatred and violence. And
one thing we know that, Elon Musk is using Twitter to boost his own,
ego.
His own ego and his own tweets. I always recommend it, but breaking Twitter and extremely hardcore as well. If you want to know more about Elon Musk taking over Twitter and like some of the stories, well worth a read.
Such a bastard. Stephanie's saying, I closed my Twitter account as soon as Musk bought it. No regrets. It's fair enough. And Michael says none of us want to see that proof. Which proof? The proof of J.K. Rowling not having XY chromosomes. No, I think she just have to go in for a DNA test. We should have a genome. It should be published on the internet because no one deserves privacy or dignity in this life. Well, I that's not what I actually believe. I think that they should, but yeah, there you go. Have you seen what Musk's daughter has been saying? Yes, and it's been fantastic. Have you seen this, Ollie?
Yeah, I saw that as well. Really, really interesting about that for just laying into this guy for being a completely useless dad.
Oh, wow.
Really, I think took it home to him. There's a really long Twitter thread about it. If you haven't seen it, you'll probably be able to find it somewhere.
Yeah,
but
I'm not going to link to Twitter, but yeah, you will. It's actually on Threads as well. So if you just go to Threads and just type in Musk's daughter, someone will have rethreaded it. Who is worse, Musk or Zuckerberg? Well, I hate both of them, but in this situation, Musk is a lot worse, and for that reason I just said. Zuckerberg isn't the person actually saying, hey, why don't you go out and riot? That'll be fun. Civil war all around. Whereas that's what Musk is doing on his platform. At least Zuckerberg pretends that he cares about the people who are using his platform.
Yeah. Bear in mind, Zuckerberg, again, not the best guy in the world, but at least when Meta has come up and been brought up on this stuff, he's actually done stuff about it. He's complied with regulations. He's done, stuff to try and, stop the platform from what you've seen, the direction that Twitter has gone in. Threads at the moment, I'd say, is a far, far better alternative to Twitter any day of the week.
Yeah. It is. It genuinely is. The problem with Threads is, and we talked about this before as well, is that it doesn't have the celebs on it and the news and the politicians that you can reach on Twitter. If you get on Twitter and call, Nigel Farage a gobshite, there's a chance you might see that. GHK, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Graham, we all love you, but fast research is problematic. It is Walz. There is no T. I did say there's no T, and that's why I looked it up. Because I've heard people calling him Waltz or Waltz.
You need to read the rest of the quote.
Let's hope there's no orange tea after November. Yes, I do. I do hope that. Oh, hang on. We got another one. Point of order. Ollie, where's the bowler hat, man?
It's too warm.
Thanks.
I don't know how you're wearing your hat today, but it's too warm.
Because I'm in Durham. I've actually got my hoodie on. I'm in Durham. It's bloody freezing up here.
You're not that far from me. It's boiling here. It's boiling.
Anthony Fisher, XY Rowling's house needs some repair. I thought the damp and mold in my crappy house was bad, and I'm skint and living with the landlord not doing anything. This is about the fact that all of her social profile pictures seem to have mold all over the wall behind her. I think that it's an illustration. I think it's like, is it like Japanese? Or something, yeah. No, I think it's like Japanese drawings, of trees and stuff. I think that's what it is. But because it's out of focus, it just looks like rising damp. It looks like mold. And everyone's like, oh, this is why J.K. Rowling has lost her freaking mind. It's the black mold in the house. So, yeah. But now her latest picture seems to just have a random penis sticking out of her head. It is just so freaking bizarre. And I don't know what happened to XY Rowling. She just lost it, I think. I don't think I just woke up one day and thought, that's it. I'm too well liked. I'm too popular. I have to. People are giving me just too much respect, so I'm gonna scotch all that. Yoni, thank you very much for the €2 super chat. Celebrities shape opinions too much anyway. That is possibly true. Yeah, definitely, but
not used to. I think it's more the fact that they have a big presence on social media now, where even wind the clock back to the 90s, they didn't have that too much of an opinion shaper unless they were, really encouraging to do it. But nowadays it's because they've got social media, and they're a lot more now, I think, a lot more socially conscious than they used to be. But there was always were, socially conscious celebrities, but now they have social media, and I think that plays a big part in that.
Yeah. For some is saying Z is pronounced TZ in Germanic languages. So if your man is faithful to his ancestry, there is no need for a T in Waltz. So we can say Waltz, more than one Walter, Walton, Waltz. Continue to argue in the chat and throw money at us if you want. We don't mind. During the Brexit war, I liked Rowling, not so much now. Yes, well, I liked her from Harry Potter. I thought Harry Potter was a great series. It got a lot of children reading. I'm really into reading. And that was exciting, to actually see kids queuing up for a new book coming out, not a new toy, not a new movie, but a book. I thought that was brilliant. But then that's all gone on his head now. And a lot of my stepdaughter's friends, my older stepdaughter, she's they hate her now. They hate J.K. Rowling. She's they're only 13, 14 years old, and they're old enough to realise that she's just got horrible in the last few years. But there you go. Right, shall we move on to other stories? Tell us about the global credit crash thing.
Yeah, this was kind of weird because this happened yesterday out of nowhere. Everyone woke up and Japan's stock market basically fell off a cliff edge. And if you saw, Twitter yesterday, but most people were panicking about this. Most of the financial were going, oh, is this a precursor to the next financial crash?
Right.
And they roll around this morning and the Japanese stock market is all quite fine again now.
Yeah.
Not as healthy as it was previously, but it's back now. And apparently what they've been trying to track down, or why, is that there was a big selling off of Japanese stocks by the looks of it. And no one exactly is, I think, 100% sure why or what exactly stocks got sold. But yeah, it caused a bit of a panic in the East, because a lot of people were like, oh, well, South Korea is going to go next. And if South Korea goes, then Indonesia is going to go next. And if Indonesia goes, well, it'll be Vietnam. And people were really yesterday freaking out about this, especially in economic things, because they were saying, oh no, it's the next economic collapse.
Yeah.
So
it's the end
that
of the
doesn't
world.
Doesn't seem to have happened with the happened, because they've seemed to have bounced back from it, which is good, because we don't want another worldwide economic collapse at the moment. But yeah, so far so good. But something else about Japan, following on, if you remember, we talked a couple of weeks ago about the Japanese governor race for Tokyo. You remember this was the race between sort of the traditionalist of the current main ruling party in the Japan, and up against a up and coming liberal-ish Japanese sort of newcomer. Unfortunately, the ruling party won, and she's now won her third term as Japanese governor. But this did seem to put a lot of fear into the ruling party, because, if again, regular viewers will know, the current Japanese ruling party is going through some insane corruption charges at the moment, where it has
you mentioned
wiped out. It has wiped out their entire top level leadership, and in some insane stuff. There's one where they caught, I think it was, I can't remember if it was the Minister of Finance or it was one of them, but he was paying for this Canadian saxophonist to come over and have an affair with him.
What?
From Canada. Yeah. Yeah. Some of these stories that have come out, really wild, but it's caught up a lot of big Japanese politicians, but that is still currently ongoing as well. But I'm keeping an eye open to see if we get any more crazy stories coming out from that. But I expect probably a lot more, crazy corruption charges to come from there. That's for sure.
Okay. Have you heard in the last couple of hours that Elon Musk has started a giant lawsuit against a coalition of advertisers? He's basically suing advertisers for not advertising on his shitty platform. This is unbelievable. The antitrust lawsuit was filed in federal court in Texas and lists the Advertising Coalition, the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, or GARM, as well as several companies under its umbrella, including Unilever, CVS Mars, and Orsted. It's as defenders. They're literally trying to sue Unilever for not advertising on their shitty platform that everyone hates.
I don't understand how you can get away with that, because you just turn around and just go, well, we're not advertising on this platform. You can't force someone to advertise on your platform.
I know, it's absolutely bonkers. Someone make it make sense. If someone in the chat can make it make sense in less than 160 characters, I'll be very, very impressed.
I mean, this would be like me and you doing the rest of politics because they don't have us on their show.
Yeah. It's a bit like me suing Loser Fox that I can't turn up at his house and read a big spiel every night about how much of a dickhead he is in his living room to his stupid, gormless, coked up face. There you go. He's left the country, you know. Lawrence Fox, he's out the country.
Doesn't surprise me.
Tommy 10 Names is out the country, isn't he? That horrible.
Yeah, all conveniently out of the country.
All conveniently out of the country. I bet Farage is hiding somewhere. Probably in a bunker in Germany, knowing him. Gobshite. Anyway, moving on. What other?
One other thing in I just want to touch on Japan again.
Okay, back to Japan.
Japanese
It's like we go to Twitter, and then we went to Japan, and then we go back to Twitter again. Yeah. I realised that. Oh, sorry. I've just knocked me thing there. I realised that my top is covered in dust. I've just been doing some woodwork in the back garden, and I'm covered in dust from all the sanding. Anyway, I just looked at myself on the camera. I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, I'm gonna have to do this up, look a bit more respectable."
So you look. What is it? You look lived in.
I look lived in.
Yeah. We both look a bit lived in, as we say in Yorkshire.
Anyway, all right, okay, so yeah, back to Japan. Go on.
Yeah, again, touching back on Japan with its depopulation stuff. This is something else we talked about quite a while ago.
Yes.
Just remember, Japanese rural areas suffering massive depopulation because they've had a huge problem for years about getting sort of their population back up. There's all that stuff that's going on there. This has now started to affect towns, and it's even started to affect some cities for this depopulation problem. That this is now also having another effect on their economy, that they potentially almost suffered a rice shortage in Japan. Yeah, because they are not
during the war.
They don't have the population, and they don't have the people working in agriculture anymore.
What?
They're not producing as much rice.
Okay.
So that is something I think a bit shocking once again for Japan. It's kind of insane to think about that, but yeah, there you go.
Oh my God. We've just had a flurry, I say, of super chats. So that's very kind of everyone. First of all, Damien Pritchard, thank you for the £5 super chat. My entire stock portfolio fell 4% overnight. I only have £50 invested, so he's lost £2. He's just lost another £5 with that super chat. So thank you very much for that. Money well spent, as far as I'm concerned. Although I would say that, wouldn't I? Emma, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I've got a new watch, really funny, mocking MAGA morons, language, colourful, but so funny. That's from Emma. Thank you very much for that. And then we've got Puninator, who's asking, where's the bowl? Oh, no, hang on, no. He's not asking that. He's saying, if his lawsuit wins, can people sue him for not paying to advertise his business in their bedroom windows? It's a very interesting kind of word, isn't it? Like, how could you force people to give you money to advertise on your platform?
There's got to be that, and even if he did win, just that opens up so many holes on like so much other stuff that people could just start suing. But I don't know. Maybe this is just like a showcase trial to like show Musk some sort of, I don't know, free speech champion or something like that. Because he's funding. Who is it? Played Cara Dune. She also again lost her entire career for being a bit of a transphobe, but she's now suing Disney when being backed by Elon Musk.
Oh, is that the actress from The Mandalorian?
Yes.
I know the one. And she was also in Deadpool 1 and 2. I think she was in 2. And then she was dropped for this Deadpool because she was problematic. And also, the guy from Silicon Valley who played his mate in the pub, in the bar, he was dropped as well, quite unceremoniously. But, it's got other people in it, so that's okay. Did you watch the interview? I'm not seeing this. Apparently there's been an interview with Farage. I find it really difficult to listen to Farage. He makes me want to puke. I find myself getting really angry. And I don't like that.
I agree with that. I only listen to Farage if I really have to.
He generates negative energy. Can I say that? I don't know if that sounds a bit woolly, but I think he's a bad man. He's a very bad man. Michael says, if you spoil Deadpool, I will hunt you down. Well, I don't need to spoil Deadpool, mate, because Ryan Reynolds has already done that.
Well,
no, I'm joking. It's brilliant. Anyway, moving on. No, she was only in one. Oh, she was only in number one. Okay. Farage on LBC earlier playing the victim.
oh, surprise,
Kidding
surprise.
me. This is Patrick H. None of anything is his fault, and he wants all the nasty people to stop criticizing him. Gina Carano.
Gina Carano, that's it.
All right, yeah, she's a
She
wrong one.
She wasn't a very good actor, to be honest. So
no, she wasn't. But she was
wasn't the world's greatest loss.
But she was a wrestler, wasn't she? A wrestler? And
yeah,
she was a wrestler, and then she went into acting, like The Rock and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and bear in mind, if you want to see like how bad an actor she was, watch I think the final episode of The Mandalorian where she's acting alongside is it Ma Wayne as well. She played Mulan, or she voiced Mulan many years ago,
right?
And also I can't remember again her name as well, but she plays Starbuck in the Battlestar Galactica reboot.
What's her name? Yeah, the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, which was fantastic until its very last episode. Spoilers.
Yeah. Again, you just see how uncomfortable she looks around like those other two actors, and you can just tell she's like falling. She's like the odd one out in those scenes.
Yeah.
And she's just not she was just not very good. So it's honestly not a huge loss to the Star Wars.
No, but it's that entitlement of like, oh, I'm a fantastic actress and actor. Well, how can you take this job away from me just because I'm not woke? And it's like, you take it away from you because you've
fell down the whole far right rabbit hole and started appealing to them. So,
Katie Sackhoff played Starbuck. Yeah, she was very good.
And then anyway, and starred in a Daily Wire. Did you hear about that? She starred in a Daily Wire movie, and it made barely any of its money back. So
okay,
yeah, so much for the right-wing entertainment industry.
Well, the thing is, they want the liberals to make movies for them to watch because they don't want to watch shite like the Christian right make in America. I mean, the Christians will watch that, but your average MAGA voter who's not into some mega church or whatever, who's just isn't particularly Christian. Let's put it that way. But they're promoting this Project 2025. They're going to vote for Project 2025 to happen, and I just don't think they know enough about it. Like, let's leave the pornography ban to one side. It's going to undo a lot of the rights that are hard-won rights for the gay community as well. Like, they're not going to let you adopt children if you're a gay couple, because they think that it should be a man and a woman.
To watch is I think I've mentioned this before, but the Texas Republican convention where they were sort of sorting out the platform, and one of the people on the committee was he was the only like openly gay person on the committee, and he's like a committed Republican. I know, a gay Republican. Who would have guessed? But they do exist.
And then they do. The leopards eating people's faces party is their favorite party.
Like, I can't believe you're passing this, this really anti-gay amendment to the Texas Republican Constitution, and it's just so weird to watch. Yeah. Honestly, it's just so weird.
Yeah, I mean, the cognitive dissonance that you need to think that it's a good idea to put your lot in with people who genuinely don't want you to exist, don't want people like you to exist, and want to take away all your rights. They're talking about monitoring women's ovulations, like the state monitoring when you're going to be on your period. Like, it's just, and they want to get rid of all contraception. They want to ban condoms. They want to ban IUDs. They want to ban Nexplanon injections. Everything. And they want to complete nationwide abortion ban.
And that's the thing that always baffles me, really. Banning IV. I don't even like abortion. Okay, I can understand that if you're doing it from a moral standpoint. They're not, but IV.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's so weird. I don't understand even why they're trying to do that.
But the thing is, as well, I was thinking about this. Like, everything that these dickheads are doing is discouraging, because they go on about the great replacement theory. They go on at this idea that all the white people are going to be replaced in the future by people who aren't white. And I'm like, you're actually accelerating it for a few reasons. One, you're making people in this country not want to have children because of the shit future that you've given them, where you've taken away their right to go and live and work anywhere in Europe, because, you know, that's something that only rich people should have. And also, you've fucked the environment, so it's going to get hotter and hotter, and people like me are going to die out because we're not going to be able to survive in these incredibly hot climates.
Yeah, I know. Just think of the Northerners. Won't someone think of us Northerners?
Someone think of us Northerners. Yeah, but they're trashing the environment. They're saying, let's burn it. You've got that dickhead Trump saying, you know, drill, drill, drill. You've got Rishi Sunak giving away all these deals, contracts for drilling for more oil in the North Sea. It's like, you're literally making the world a place where, if you have got more melanin in your skin, then you're going to do better in general. Less skin cancer, etc. Less sunburn. And like, you're making it so that the indigenous people of any northern country doesn't particularly want to have children anymore. Thanks for that. You made it too expensive for childcare. You can't get a house. You can barely feed yourself and your partner if you're lucky. And so people aren't having kids. And so we're becoming more and more reliant on people coming from other countries. And I'm like, and even like leaving the EU, we're going to stop people from Poland and Romania and Portugal coming here in favour of people coming from Bangladesh and countries in Africa. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's what they were hoping for. But we will go on to Bangladesh in a moment, because we do need to move on to Bangladesh, because we need to talk about the fact that the Prime Minister's done a runner. But before we do that, can we just quickly talk about Ukraine? We've had a super chat come in for questionable obscenity. Anyone mentioned Kursk yet with Ukraine invading? Thank you very much for that super chat there. So basically, there was this was the Kursk region in Russia proper, which was attacked by, what was it, like a group of, it was like the Dirty Dozen, wasn't it? From Ukraine went in, and they've managed to kill at least 3 Russians in Russia. And again, it's not that big of a skirmish when, you know, in terms of the war and everything, but mate, like, it's making Russian people not feel safe in their own country because of a war that their dickhead leader started.
Yep.
So yeah. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, like I say, I think it's about time. You know, we saw this all the time at the beginning of the war. You had 2 leaders on the Russian side. One was in charge of the north, the other was in charge of the south. And the Ukrainians used to just prod either one, because when they would want to attack in the south, they'd prod the guy in the north, then the reinforcements would head to the north, and then they would attack in the south, and vice versa. So them sort of prodding Russia in this way, I think is I think a really good, effective tactic. You've got a lot of pressure going on at the moment in Bakhmut, so I think them doing this is a perfectly reasonable response to help take pressure off going on in and around I can't remember the name of the town at the moment, but yeah, I think they've done it intentionally to help
Sudza was the name of the town. I think that was attacked. Also, there was news that Russia has dropped 39 bombs so far this year on their own country.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at this point.
Friendly fire. Kursk is already famous since World War II, the famous salient. It's infamous. Wasn't Kursk the name of the submarine that went down years ago? And everyone on it was, all souls were lost in that submarine. Anyway, let's go over to Bangladesh. We did mention this before. So, Prime Minister's done a runner. Tell us all about it, Ollie.
Yeah. You may remember last week we talked about the quite heavy-handed, tactics going on here that all sparked off from a law that said, I think, 20% of all government jobs had to go to people who had relatives who fought in like the Bangladesh revolution, and that if you didn't have any relatives or anyone who fought in it, well, you'd either lose your government job or you'd be pretty much guaranteed a government job. And a lot of people really, really started kicking off at this, especially a lot of young people. And since last week, these protests have escalated, even after, remember, they put in martial law. Yeah. So the people out on the streets were doing this under the threat of being shot at because they had put out a shoot on sight order. The people who were breaking curfew. So
bloody hell.
Yeah. They, I think, stormed the house. Either the house or I think it was the parliament of the president this week as well. So after this, after everything that's gone and happened, everything just fully pushing and pushing. I think she was told, your time's up, you have to go, because we have seen the military step in, and currently they are in charge, but they have said that they want to sort of form a transitional council, which will then where they can give power over to them. And once they give power over to them, they are then going to have an election again, and they'll elect a new leader. But the person who they got rid of, by the way, is kind of an interesting story, because this person in particular, I'm going to horribly butcher her name, but it's Shia Halsin. I think that's how you say it. But
I would say Sheikh Hasina.
Sheikh Hassan. We'll go with that then.
It's HSSINA, so Hasina. Should we say Sheikh Hasina? If we said that wrong, I'm very sorry.
Sheikh Hasina. There we go.
Hang on, there.
So she's one of the longest serving female leaders.
Yeah, she's been in charge for 15 years, hasn't she?
She's been around for a long, long time. Yeah. And this is someone who came in and effectively, over time, has almost gotten rid of all the democracy. But you look back at her, again, her whole history, she was like a child of the revolution. She went out there and sort of, got involved to help bring democracy to Bangladesh, and through it she went from being very, very pro-democracy to, well, where she is now, becoming almost very, very authoritarian.
I think she did an XY Rowling.
Yeah.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
Honestly, that suited to a perfect. It's exactly what's happened here.
Oh my God.
It's so bizarre if you look at her history, and I guarantee you, today or in the next couple of weeks, there'll be people
she had
writing stuff about her.
Her dad was assassinated. Her entire family was assassinated, and she only survived because she was in Europe at the time. So I mean, she is no stranger to the terror of a militant state who's going around, I don't know, shooting people for protesting. Jesus. So yeah, it's
such a strange. Again, I do hope now that Bangladesh does get someone new and is going to sort of bring back some of the democracy that they recently got rid of. But it's one of those things where you see something like this happen, and someone's put it in chat. You look at Venezuela at the moment.
Oh God.
You've got a country here who's uprising. They've protested against the government. The government put in martial law. She realized she couldn't stay, and she got on a helicopter and went off to India. I wonder why she went over to India, to Modi, who's a bit of an authoritarian leader, but who knows why she went there. But you look at Venezuela, where they've just had elections. They are now very, very much disputing this. Once again, the current Venezuelan government refusing to release the local voting numbers about who voted what.
I'm getting really agitated by people I follow on Twitter, who I don't follow anymore, who are on my side when it comes to Ukraine and Gaza, thinking, this is disgraceful, the way, Russia's behaved, the way the Israeli government's behaved. And yet they seem to have this soft spot for Venezuela? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, the junta that's been in charge for the last 25 freaking years, oh, they're fine. They're good. Chavez, Maduro, keep them on. Give them another 5 freaking years of starving his people and having millions of them leave and declaring war on their neighbors. Yeah. Piss off. Well, not declaring war, but having a referendum. Having a referendum. Should we annex our neighbor? Should we take 2/3 of the land of our neighbor? Because there's oil, and this is the thing. A lot of the people who always go on about daft military adventures in the Middle East, when we talk about Iraq, yep, oil there. Okay, fair enough. Yep. Mention the oil. But then Afghanistan, there's no freaking oil in Afghanistan. There's sod all in Afghanistan. That's why it's Afghanistan. Maybe you can make some poppies, grow some heroin. But that's about it. They've got some minerals, maybe. But it's not enough to get the American war machine up and running just for those minerals. But yeah, Venezuela is literally doing a USA. Wanted to invade a country to take its oil.
Yep.
And not even being shy about it. They're like, yeah, we'll have a referendum. So yeah, I'm getting increasingly agitated with people defending Nicolas Maduro because I think he's a gobshite.
Yeah, and I have to wonder once again how long this guy lasts. Just because you're seeing the protests really, really picking up again in Venezuela over this week, probably over the next week as well.
Yeah,
it's.
I hope it goes through. I hope they get him out. I hope they get him out and get those, because the actual data from the polls hasn't been produced. The government has said no, and the judiciary's that's what the government's are. Said no, we don't have to show you our working out. We'll just tell you what the result was, and nothing adds up because the 80% that of the vote that was actually seen, the opposition was like miles ahead of Maduro. So yeah. Anyway, I do feel sorry for the ladies off Afghanistan. Plum Duff, I do too. Graham, you said bin Twitter and go on thread, so I did. I hope I'm not missing out. Said Emma Price, no, you're not. Honestly, it's better for your mental health to not be on Twitter, believe me. Tim Waltz was the best choice.
Somehow gotten even worse.
Yeah. Well, somehow, because he's allowed back on the likes of Katie Hopkins and Tommy Ten Names and other assorted gobshites who should be banned off that site for being disgusting. Zoshalix is saying Tim Waltz is the best choice, and she took it. With this choice, she's pretty much won. Talking about Kamala, and yeah, her pick for VP, which we're quite excited for. I kind of like him. I've seen a few interviews with him, and I think he's folksy. He's got that easy to listen to. He reminds me a bit. If you ever watched the TV show Fargo. Or the film, you see the film Fargo, the sort of folksy sort of way that people talk there, but absolutely sharp and on the ball.
Absolutely. I
Francis McDormand
I've been looking up interviews and things like that. He comes across as very, very good,
but also
very, very good.
This is something that we got to mention. He's a gun owner. He's got a lot of friends who are Republicans. He says he has family members who are Republicans, and
I think that's his state. Where he won. He won it from a Republican.
Yeah. And I think that what goes down very well is people can say, I don't like Democrats, but I like him. He's one of the good ones. So, and Kamala's pretty much untested. Kamala is pretty much untested at this point. So, for a lot of Americans, I know she's been VP, but yeah, hopefully this is what the Democrats need to take him over.
Yeah,
the edge to get them to where they need to be. Okay, so
I think he's really, if you look at him, and because there's a lot of now profiles going out about him, most of them are saying, he's a really good pick. He's very, very progressive. He can be very, very sort of aggressive. He can be quite an attack dog as well. We talked about the beginning of this, like he managed to do a lot of like really good progressive stuff as like the governor in a state where he had like a majority of one. So I think he's going to do very, very good. I think he's going to do very, very good as a VP. And I think it's exactly the type of person you want. It'd be very interesting to see, by the way, if we have a vice presidential debate where we see him go up against Vance.
JD Vance.
That I think would be funny. because I think Vance would absolutely get annihilated.
Yeah, and good on that.
He's had a lot to say about Vance recently.
Okay, so from Bangladesh to Venezuela, over to Israel and Iran. Tensions escalating there.
Yeah, not just Iran, but Lebanon as well.
Yeah. After Hezbollah attacked the Golan Heights, where there's a lot of Jewish settlers, and Israel then is saber rattling in return, and American citizens and other citizens are being told to get the hell out of Beirut, to get the hell out of Lebanon.
That's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign if they are saying that.
A top Hamas commander was assassinated this week in Iran, in his own home with an incendiary device that had been in his home for months, apparently. Just waiting for the right moment to explode. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's got, Iran, and like I say, Israel's claimed responsibility for it, for taking him out. So it happened on their soil, their territory. They're not very happy about it. It's not the first time that Israel has done this. It's just one of those things where you've got a belligerent neighbor. How long before happens before you strike back? But if they do end up going to war in some way, shape, or form, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a land war. This is very much going to be like a missile air war. I think
throwing missiles at each other.
Yeah, just throwing stuff at each other. And then I think if they invade Lebanon, that's going to be a very, very bad idea, because Lebanon last time Hezbollah fought them very, very much to a standstill, because they are not Hamas. They are actually almost an army within a state, and Lebanon has no control over that army. But they've actually got proper weaponry compared to Hamas. So that is going to be a very, very difficult war, I think, for them to actually fight. Very difficult terrain as well, because you're going through mountainous terrain. If you've seen the odd photo or the odd video of Israel using a trebuchet to fire a flaming shot over a wall, that is because they are trying to burn away forest and brushes, which is so it's I think things could get very warm very quickly. But this is also why you need, I think, Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris and of course Waltz as well, very much part of the faction that is like, hey, Netanyahu, here's this peace deal. It solves pretty much all your problems. Why aren't you taking it? You're making us. We can see you're making us look foolish now. So, yeah, I think if you get, Harrison, I think she's going to be a lot meaner to Netanyahu, and I think really going to put the pressure on him. Really put the pressure on him on that.
Brilliant. Okay, we've got some super chats quickly. We've got Brad W there, £5. Thank you very much. What's the top disco track in Iran? Iranian Men. Hallelujah.
Oh.
Hey, did you hear about the epileptic vampire? He had a coffin fit.
Oh.
Anyway, Emma, thank you very much for the super chat. Seng TYT, who is a Turkish Graham, campaigned against Biden. He's a Turkish Graham, what? He's Turkish, I guess. He is delighted with Harris. Waltz is confident for a win. So
that's Kent Yuga from TYT. Again, a big sort of
what's
YouTube.
TYT?
The Young Turks.
Oh, the Young Turks. Okay.
Yeah, the Young
he
Turks
campaigned against Biden.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Kent. He put forward his own candidacy. He wasn't going to win. It was a long shot. But he has been very, very much against Biden for quite some time.
Right. Okay.
I think he'll be feeling very, very much vindicated about Biden dropping out because of the age thing, because he's been on that for well over a year. So I think he's feeling very, very vindicated at the moment.
Well, I've I felt very vindicated. I didn't go on for it as long as that, but I wasn't really paying attention to it until after I watched that debate, mate. That was it for me. I was like, no, he's got to go. He's got to go. And I was just having no truck with anyone who was arguing otherwise. I was like, no, he's got to go. And I'm glad he's gone, and I'm glad that they have hit the road, hit the ground running, and this is gearing up to be a campaign that I'm not completely unhopeful about. But then again, I mean, maybe it's worse this way. What happens, Ollie, if we get dead excited about Kamala winning and then she doesn't win? Like, how are we gonna? I mean,
I think you've got to look at it in the polls. I think if this happened, I think it would be a close win. I don't think it would be like an overwhelming landslide victory for Trump. I think there's a couple of key states that, we've said before, like
he doesn't need a landslide, mate.
Win. There's 5 states.
He just needs 269
to at least win 3.
He just needs 269. That's all he needs, because then it'll go to the it'll go to Congress, won't it? And they've got the numbers, and it's per state.
Yeah.
So Wyoming will get the same number of votes in that vote as California and New York State. So yeah, there are some ways that Trump can win this. So it's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be squeaky bum time. But the good news is that Trump isn't president now. So if he doesn't win and he tries to mount another insurrection, he's not going to get anywhere near how far he got last time, just because the president, who will still be President Biden, can call up the National Guard and have everyone landed up and shot. No, maybe not shot, but a stern telling off.
Sort of progressive-wise, we've just been talking about, if you want a better, peace in the Middle East, you've got to make sure, it's Harris Waltz who wins. Because if Trump gets in, Trump will. Well, he'll throw Ukraine under the bus. That's without a doubt, shadow of a doubt. He'll do that, and then he'll just give Israel complete free rein on whatever it wants to do with Palestine and whatever else crazy military ventures it wants to get involved with. So, you don't want Trump in the White House, but we've been over that plenty of times before.
No, Pollinators agreeing with you for the last super chat of the evening. I think if Harris doesn't win, then we'll have bigger problems to worry about, Graham. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we will. Indeed. If she loses, Democrats need to take the Capitol, says Vendetta. Well, they started it. Trump lost his case in the Missouri challenging of late arrivals of postal votes. Also, Trump lost the case in the Supreme Court about there was another state that was suing the state of New York over Trump's court case that he's lost in New York. It's a criminal case that he's lost. And another state was trying to sue. And they sent it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court was like, what even is this? How can you... But two of the Supreme Court justices actually agreed that this other state should have special dispensation to interfere with the law and the outcome of a judicial proceeding in someone else's state.
Yeah.
You probably never guess which two they were. I think one of them rhymes with Clarence Thomas. Damien, thank you very much. I was wrong, mate. Quick, write down the time, date. Puddinator, you weren't the last of the super chats tonight. We've got another two. Damien Pritchard, thank you very much. I have a £5 bet on Kamala to win. Excellent. And then we've got Johnny Copperhead. Thank you very much, Damien. Thank Johnny Copperhead, saying the GOP are looking at ways to get their minions on county election boards to refuse to certify election results. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat there, Johnny. Yes, again, if Trump was currently in power, this would be something I'd be more concerned about. With Biden in power, if they do try and pull this shit, then you can arrest them and probably put them in jail for a very long time.
That's something else that Elon Musk might be in trouble with.
Okay, quickly before we go.
He set up a fake registration page.
What?
Yeah. So
a fake what?
a fake registration page to get yourself registered. So if you are in a Republican strong area,
and you think you're registered, but you're not.
Yeah. You fill in all your information, takes you right to the actual page where you need to register in your state, in your area.
Yeah.
But if you put your information in and you're a Democrat, makes it look like you've registered when you haven't.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Come on.
Elon Musk would be going
that
to
should be 30 to life for that. Undermining American democracy. Some foreigner, some Johnny foreigner, an immigrant from Africa coming over and undermining American democracy. Imagine if he was black doing that.
The ghost of Hugo Chavez who was fixing American elections.
Bloody hell. Yeah. Okay, well, listen
to all these dead communist leaders fixing American elections.
Well, indeed. Anyway, we're going to call it there. So thank you so much, Ollie, for your banter and your knowledge of what's going on in the world. Thank you to everyone in the chat there. And all the super chats, thank you very much for that. If you're watching this, we're going to wrap up now. And after the credits, if you stay on this channel, you will be magically transported over to Maximilian Robespierre's channel. Mark is feeling a bit better this week, so he'll be actually doing a show, which is great news for everyone. So say hello to Max for us, from me and Ollie, and everyone here at Politics Social. I'll be back in the morning at 9:30 with Morning Brew. And until then, unless Ollie's got something else he wants to say quickly before we go.
Nope. But
nope. Sausages. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like on the way out. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.